Thank you, Parna. So, very relevant information. So my name is Lisa Pollack. I'm the marketing director for the California Olive Oil Council. And a lot of what Parna's saying rings very true in the category of olive oil, because it's very confusing when you're standing there and you're faced with all different varieties. Some's cold pressed, some's pure, some's light. You're not exactly sure what you're looking at. So hopefully I'll help to sort of decode that a little bit for you today. So let's see. Oh, and there's Michelle. Hello. So I want to take you back a couple years ago. I found myself on a farm in New Zealand, and I was there to assist with the harvest of the olives. So basically, we worked tirelessly. We were out in the fields and basically hand harvesting all of the olives, collecting them in bins, and then when it was time, we filled up the bins, threw them in the back of a truck, and then we drove the truck down to the local mill. Because olive oil is essentially a fruit juice, and basically fresh is best when you're referring to olive oil. So we dropped it off at the mill, came back the next day, and I was obviously very much looking forward to this first taste of fresh extra virgin olive oil. So we pick it up, we take it back to the house, and we had some freshly prepared focaccia that was to be served with this olive oil. So, I'm greatly looking forward to this. I'd worked tirelessly to bring this liquid in front of me. So I dip the bread in, I take a taste, and what I taste is just totally unexpected. It was intensely pungent, intensely herbaceous, and just unlike flavors that I'd ever had before when it came to oil. So to me, it was kind of this aha awakening of my palate, and it was basically there was no turning back from that point, because that was my first taste of fresh extra virgin olive oil, which was completely unlike what I had previously thought to be extra virgin olive oil. So basically, before we get too far, let's talk about what extra virgin actually is and what it's supposed to denote. So basically, extra virgin is the highest grade of olive oil, so it's the top quality. And basically, that's determined by it being assessed under chemical parameters and also meeting a sensory analysis. So when you're looking and shopping for olive oil, generally extra virgin is the highest grade, followed by virgin olive oil, and then followed by what's referred to as ordinary or lampante olive oil, or just plain olive oil. So when you're shopping, there's a couple terms that are somewhat confusing. There's the term you'll often see on labels used, which is light, which doesn't refer that it's easier on the waistline. Rather, it refers to generally what is refined olive oil. So it's olive oil that's basically been stripped of some defects which give it some adverse flavor criteria. And then there's also the term pure, which can be sometimes used, which pure generally can refer to an oil which is somewhat of a blend. Maybe it does include some extra virgin olive oil, but it's generally a small quantity paired with some of that refined olive oil. So one thing to kind of combat this in the marketplace is that the California Olive Oil Council, we represent about 90% of the producers in California, and California produces 99% of the olive oil that's produced in the US. So we have what's called the Seal Certification Program, and we established this in 1998, and this was an effort as a service to consumers and also retailers alike to basically give our producers who are really committed to quality and traceability some way to distinguish their product in the marketplace. So very much like certified organic and things of that nature. Basically, we work somewhat as the regulatory body. So all of our producers each year, after the harvest, which is in the fall of the olives, they'll press their olives, get their olive oil, and then they submit it to us, and then we basically verify the quality of that olive oil. So it's held to those same chemical and sensory parameters, and then once it meets the criteria, then we have an emblem, a COC seal, that you can look for on the bottle. So that's kind of your assurance policy. And then as far as shopping for olive oil, some tips for you. Basically, number one, there's 3 enemies of olive oil. Basically, it's light, heat, and air. So when you're shopping for oil, first of all, you're going to want to look for oil that's in a dark container, so a dark glass container, because that way the oil is protected from the UV lights, which degrade the quality faster over time. And if possible, you'll want to look for a harvest date. So generally, olives are harvested and then pressed within 24 hours to produce the oil. So when you're shopping for oil, if you find a best by date, generally that's not giving you a whole lot of information. So if you're able to find the harvest date, it shows that the producer is paying attention, they want to provide the information to you, and it's able for you to kind of determine, all right, when was this oil pressed, fresh is best, and figure out if it falls within that 12 to 18 months when you want to consume the oil. And then the COC seal is a tool if you're shopping for California. And also, basically, be careful on how you store your olive oil, basically. So once it's open, it has a shelf life of about 6 months. So you want to keep it away from those 3 enemies, so light, air and heat and store it in a cool, dark place away from your stove.